Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I am so happy you are here with me today. So, take a breath, get comfortable, and let your mind travel somewhere far away. Because today, we are going to talk about a boy who asked too many questions. A boy who looked at birds and wondered why they could fly. Who looked at water and wondered why it moved that way. This is the story of Leonardo da Vinci. If you enjoy learning English through real stories about real people, make sure you follow storyline icons. Every story is a new lesson, and every lesson helps you grow. Now, let us begin. Our story starts in a small town called Vinci in Italy. It is a quiet place, surrounded by hills and farms. And in this town, in the year 1452, a baby boy was born. His name was Leonardo. Leonardo's father was a rich lawyer, but his mother was a poor country woman. They were never married. In those days, people called children like Leonardo illegitimate. Society did not fully accept him. He could not go to university. He could not join many important jobs. Doors that opened for other boys stayed closed for him. But Leonardo did not care about closed doors. He cared about open eyes. He spent his childhood in nature. He watched the birds fly above the hills. He watched water flow through the rivers. He watched light fall on leaves, and he asked questions that other children never asked. Why does a bird not fall from the sky? Why does water move in circles? What is inside a flower? When Leonardo was 14 years old, his father took him to Florence. Florence was one of the greatest cities in the world. Artists, thinkers, and merchants filled its streets. And there, Leonardo became a student in the workshop of a famous artist named Verrocchio. In the workshop, Leonardo learned to paint, to sculpt, to mix colors. He learned to draw the human body. He worked hard, and he watched everything closely. One day, Verrocchio was painting a picture. He asked young Leonardo to paint one small angel in the corner. Leonardo picked up his brush, and when Verrocchio saw the finished angel, he stopped. He stared at it for a long moment. The angel was more alive, more beautiful than anything else in the painting. It is said that Verrocchio never picked up a paintbrush again. He knew his student had already passed him. But painting was only the beginning for Leonardo. His mind could not stay still. He became obsessed with the human body. He wanted to know what was hidden beneath the skin. So Leonardo did something that shocked people in his time. He studied dead bodies. Late at night, in cold rooms, he examined muscles, bones, organs, and the heart. He drew what he saw, page after page, with incredible detail and accuracy. Even today, 500 years later, doctors look at Leonardo's drawings, and they are amazed by how correct they are. His curiosity did not stop with the human body. Leonardo looked at the world and saw problems waiting to be solved. He designed machines that no one else could imagine. A machine that could fly like a bird, centuries before airplanes existed. A machine of war, similar to a tank, rolling across a battlefield. A device that could let a person fall from the sky and land safely. Today, we call this a parachute. Most of these inventions were never built in his lifetime. The tools, the materials, the science, none of it existed yet. But his ideas were correct. 400 years later, engineers built machines and made a discovery. Leonardo had already imagined them, long before the world was ready. Leonardo carried notebooks everywhere he went. Thousands of pages filled with drawings, inventions, questions, and observations. And strangely, he wrote most of it backwards. Only a mirror could read his true handwriting. Nobody knows for certain why. Perhaps he was protecting his ideas. Perhaps because he was left-handed, writing backwards was simply easier for him. Perhaps it was just another small mystery in a life already full of them. For years, Leonardo moved between cities. He worked for powerful rulers. He designed weapons and bridges for the Duke of Milan. He worked as a military engineer. And in every city, he continued painting, slowly and carefully, sometimes taking years to finish a single work. One of these paintings he never truly finished. A portrait of a quiet woman with a gentle, mysterious smile. He carried this painting with him for the rest of his life, adding small details year after year. Today, we call her the Mona Lisa, and she has become the most famous painting in the entire world. People travel from every country just to stand in front of her, just to look into her eyes for a few seconds. Leonardo also painted another masterpiece, one that fills an entire wall in a church in Milan. The Last Supper. 13 men sitting at a table, painted with such emotion and realism. Visitors still stand in silence in front of it, 500 years later. But despite all of this genius, Leonardo often left work unfinished. He had too many ideas, too many questions, too many directions pulling at his mind at the same time. Some paintings, some inventions, some projects he simply walked away from, moving on to the next curiosity that captured his attention. This frustrated some of the people who paid him, but it was simply how his mind worked. He was not chasing perfection in one thing. He was chasing understanding in everything. In his final years, Leonardo moved to France. Invited by the king himself, who admired him deeply. He spent his last days in a small chateau, surrounded by his notebooks, his drawings, and his endless unanswered questions. On the 2nd of May, 1519, Leonardo da Vinci passed away. He left behind paintings that the world still treasures. Notebooks filled with inventions far ahead of his time, and a simple but powerful lesson for anyone who dares to look closely at the world. And so, my friends, we come to the end of our journey. Through the story of Leonardo da Vinci, we traveled from the quiet hills of Vinci to the busy art studios of Florence, to the royal court of France. We saw a boy who was told he did not belong become a man whose mind reshaped how humanity sees art, science, and imagination itself. And what do we take from this story? Perhaps it is this. Leonardo never stopped asking questions, even when the world had no answers ready for him. He looked at a bird and dared to imagine flight. He looked at his smile and dared to capture its mystery forever. And to you, the English learner listening right now, maybe you also have many questions. Maybe you wonder if you are learning fast enough or well enough. That is normal. That is the journey. The important thing is to stay curious. To keep watching, keep listening, keep asking, just like Leonardo did. Because just like Leonardo da Vinci, you are not defined by the doors that stay closed. You are defined by the questions you refuse to stop asking. So, keep going. We believe in you, and we are honored to walk this road with you. If this story moved you, please leave a comment below. Tell us which part of Leonardo's story touched you the most. Subscribe to Storyline Icons so you never miss a new story. And share this with someone who needs a little inspiration today. We will see you in the next story. Until then, take care of yourself. Keep learning. And remember, the greatest journeys always begin with one brave question.